Welcome back, ladies and gents. We are two independent musician weirdos from the Pizza Ghost Collective who take pleasure in discovering and sharing other people's unique and strange music with each other. And of course, with you guys. I'm your co-host, Sam, from Hectic Temps and the upcoming
Wow.
Pinata Planet project.
Wow.
And
And I'm Mason Wheatley. I am a solo artist, so you can Mason Wheatley. And then we're not, we're actually technically kind of disbanded, but a new upcoming EP from Man About a Horse. Keep it, on the back of your mind. It's going to be coming out maybe in 2025. I sure hope so. Anyways, good to see you, Samuel.
good to see you. Certainly has been a while. And yeah, that Man About Horse EP is going to be coming in 2025. Sounds like you've made great
God,
progress with that. Fucking
I hope
kicks
so.
ass. You
I
could
hope
release it
so.
right now, but you're too much of a perfectionist. I get it. I get it. It'll be coming. Today we have a very exciting episode, one a band that has been very influential on both of us, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. The band is Make a Rising. Disperse our base assumptions, consumer produce and motivate judgment from the mind. Action and thought, decisions by galaxies. Reborn as a world from time lost to the Asian trash. I want to feel affected by the furthest burning star. Living for truth.
Make a Rising. What a
Yeah,
name.
it is a very interesting name. And I think you were the one that showed me them originally. I think I might have ended up listening to them a little bit more as time went on, but I'm
Yeah.
curious because I was like preparing for this episode and wondering like how did you discover them? Because they're
No
just
fucking idea.
not
I
so
don't,
big.
right. I have no idea. And I was wondering the same thing. 'Cause we both like got into them around the same time. Probably, it was probably just like Spotify algorithm. I feel like this is probably like in our Lawrence, Kansas days. So like, early college years. Well, I guess we were probably both
Early
dropouts
college
around there.
dropout
Early
years.
college, yeah, the
Yeah,
early college dropout years,
the
prime
golden
time.
days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good. But that really was the golden age of our musical discovery, I think. So,
discoveries.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, for
This
sure.
was definitely a big one. Um, yeah. I mean, where do you want to start? There's so many different angles we could take this.
Yeah, well, I don't know. My basic feelings about like this band is I remember when you first showed me them, I remember thinking like almost being disappointed because I thought like in my head that like, oh man, this is like exactly maybe not exactly, but this is so close to the sort of music that I had always imagined myself to be creating. So like
Right.
when I first started working on music ever, before I even started learning guitar or playing in bands, I would like sit in front of my parents' piano and play stuff on a piano, trying to make things that, sound like mysterious or beautiful, cool, or whatever. But I had like
Yeah.
no concept of like verse, chorus structure or anything like that, So it
Yeah.
was just kind of like, oh, here's like one, cool part, and here's a like it transitions into this next part, and this whole thing just felt like sitting in front of like that piano just felt like this whole like anything is possible, and it's just this whole
Right.
adventure that you're going on without
Adventure
worrying
for
on
sure.
like
Yeah.
going back to where you started or anything like that.
Right.
And I don't know, when you first showed me um the album, well, what is it?
I
The
still
Infinite Ellipse and Head with Open Fontanelle. Of course, how could you
perfect.
forget?
Right. Just flows off the tongue.
Exactly.
Okay, so the first thing about this album is the artwork. I think well, it's not artwork. It's a how would you describe it? It's a staged photograph, and it gives off like I don't know how you describe it. It's like a play theatrical play. There's you can see they're all every. It's like there's like 4 to 5 people on screen. They seem to be like in a little creek with like a water what appears to be like a waterfall in the background, but then you look closer and it's like those old in like the old play days where they use like I don't know if it's cardboard or whatever it is, cardboard cutouts that look like waves. And then there's like little I don't even like a paper mache creatures. There's a guy, he looks kind of like a sailor and he's looking through binoculars. It's just like
Yeah,
it's a very abstract, very surreal picture. And I think it describes the band very well, but also kind of like it's a very
very
it's
open-ended too,
it's
I feel
very
like.
open-ended. Exactly. It's like what is the vibe here? You don't really know. I think
Yeah.
the big thing is like I think it's very theatrical. Like it has this kind of the music and this photograph has like a very like I don't know. Like it's they're all the band members are like just characters in some sort of play or musical or whatever. So
Yeah, and I haven't seen like too many live videos from them, but I feel like the one that I remember seeing, they were in sort of these like
costumes.
costumes that you see, at least one of them like that you see similar to that album art there. Yeah, very cool, very intriguing. Just the I guess what I love about the whole like the band is that like it's so avant-garde, but not in
Yeah.
an avant-garde way. Like it can't just be any avant-garde, at least for my taste,
Yeah.
because it sometimes it just gets too lost in the weeds of
Lost in the
being
sauce.
just wacky. Yeah, have something
Yeah.
to hold on to. For me, for
Right.
my brain, I always need like vocals, and I need something like that's catchy, fun,
Melodic.
and melodic, and just like and like beautiful. Not necessarily like
Yeah.
beautiful, but sounds like catchy, and like
Right.
stays kind of like those the earworms. And this
Yeah.
band does like just a great job of doing that with every single song. Even like they get pretty off the rails, but like in some places, which is but like it's great when you combine like going
Yeah.
off the rails with also like having those catchy like I don't know, just very like I don't know, Beatles-esque or just the classic, just like
Yeah.
beautiful chorus
It,
sounding heart like harmonies. We're about to
right.
listen to that with the first track, Sneffels Yokul from the Infinite Ellipse album. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was looking at the I'll read like a tiny passage from like their little Spotify bio or
Hmm.
whatever. Says flying the flag of 70s avant rock into the 21st century, Philadelphia-based band Make a Rising combined the influence of Henry Cow. We know Henry Cow.
Yep.
I think you were a bit more I'm vaguely familiar. I remember the sound and it's just like absolutely banana. It's
It's
just
absolutely it's
it's
wild. Well,
crazy.
that's actually Henry Cow. Like obviously, like they're like really great musicians and everything, but that
Yeah.
actually would be an example of an avant-garde
Too
band where for
much.
me it's just like, man, I can't listen to these guys
Right.
like every single day,
Yeah. It's a
or that
little it's just
often.
too challenging. Yeah, it's like you don't it's but it's at the same time it's like the spirit of it I think is what is so
Definitely.
like inspiring. And that's the same with this band like regardless of like, you know, how much you listen to them. I just feel like just the fact that they exist and like I think like the age at which we like discover them, I feel like it really kind of set us on a trajectory to like want to make similar music that is like a journey the whole way through. It's like takes you on a boat ride, you know, takes you down a winding river. You don't know where it's going to end up.
Right. Hmm.
And yeah, so I think that it's a great yeah, and like the pop sensibilities. I totally agree. It's like what that's really what kind of draws you in and keeps you like kind of intrigued the whole way because yeah, like you said, there's these passages where you really kind of do get lost and they come in unpredictable times, but then you'll come back and then you're like in this very like kind of just easygoing, like very gentle. And then you're back in some crazy, like kind of really it feels like you're in like a twister or something. Like it's just very kind of disorienting. Um yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But with a band like Henry Cow, sometimes it feels like you're lost the whole time, or at least to my
Right.
like
Yeah.
dumbass brain trying to it's
Right.
probably like all over my head, but it's just like but it's
Yeah.
cool because that sort of thing that those bands like Henry Cow like influenced so many bands that would come later like
Right.
on like that we listen to like Cardiac Knife World.
Yeah.
Obviously that's a huge influence for them. So
Yeah.
it's cool. Um was that it with the biography? I also did have a little bit of like
There's
biographical information that I was
yeah.
going to share before we get into the music.
No, you can go for it. I just that was the main thing. Also Philadelphia, I think that's an
Billy,
important point. Philly just seems to
yeah,
be pulling some like great bands. Like they're a bit older, obviously. I feel like this is like early or mid 2000s.
Right.
But yeah, something about Philadelphia is like really bringing the heat, you know?
I know. Yeah, it makes me
Yeah.
want to move back.
Yeah.
Stay there longer. But yeah, well, they so I was reading about them, and I still don't know too much. Like the biographical information is kind of like dispersed across like various sources. But I think the gist of it, like they started in Philadelphia, and they did like most of their earlier stuff, or at least I think maybe like the first three albums in Philadelphia. But when some of the members moved to LA, that's like the action, like progress in the band kind of came to not really a halt, but it slowed down. And
Hmm.
now it seems like for checking their Instagram a few weeks ago, or the last time I checked, I saw a post saying took a 4.5 year break due to COVID, but now we're back tracking our latest album.
Oh
So
shit.
we got a whole new
Damn.
brand spanking new album coming.
Right. I gotta come
So
on the pod.
yeah,
Jesse,
that'd be
Jesse and
cool.
Justin and the gang. That's crazy. Yeah, so I'm curious, like I don't remember if it was like again, I don't know if it's Jesse or Justin, I feel bad, but one of them had like a solo album too. Whatever the last thing they released was like very like more electronic based. Like it felt like it was a lot of like programmed music rather than like what we're gonna listen to, which is very like acoustic and organic. So I'm curious, like I really have no idea like what
With a new album, it's gonna
direction,
sound
yeah,
like.
that they're gonna take, but
Yeah.
should be cool.
Yeah, man. The shit is, yeah, fucking beautiful. So let's get into it.
Is that the end of that right there?
Yeah, the problem
Yeah.
with listening to just that one is it makes you want to listen to
Right.
like all the
Yeah.
other songs in order. Like this album in particular, I just feel like, especially the first half of it, it's just it just feels like one, the songs are kind of like one transition into
Yeah.
another, but then like within the songs, but then like I think like several songs in a row here just feel like they're like transitioning from each song. It's like almost like the whole album is one
Yeah.
big song. There's a few at the end that are like more sort of like they're like distinct like pieces of music, but I
Right.
just think I love Snuffles Yokul. The beginning it's just like it just feels like such a classic or just so was iconic, I guess.
It
Like
is kind of
it's
iconic.
just like a cappella choir,
Yeah.
and it's just very just I guess epic and majestic sounding. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, it's just like we're off on this adventure.
Right.
Who knows where it'll
Right.
take them.
It is
So
yeah, it's definitely I feel like there's a lot of passages in this whole album that are really they do feel like almost timeless. Like, and I don't know, maybe we're just, it's because we've listened to them a lot, but I don't
yeah,
know. There's some songs and just passages that like just feel so yeah, like iconic, like holy shit, like it's just always existed. And anyways, yeah, we can talk about it more. But I will say real quick that I listened to this album on a walk through the woods, and it was just the most. It was a perfect setting for it, and that's one of the things that because I hadn't listened to this album all the way through in like a really long time, but I was struck at how it really like the song structure and like the flow is just like it really is like so like effortless, and it just is it really works well as like a single listen through.
yeah,
It's not something you can just pop into, so definitely
right.
do it justice by the whole
It's not
thing.
jarring. There's like huge moments where it's like,
No.
whoa, holy shit, what the fuck?
Well,
But
it's
it's
kind of
not
it's kind
like
of jarring.
it
It's a
is.
little it's
It's not.
intentionally,
It's
right.
jarring, but it's like organic. Everything like seems to be like like purposefully advancing into the next part. It's not like, oh, you
Right.
disappear, then like you've teleported somewhere else. It's like you have like landed here from there.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's
Totally.
one
Yeah.
of those things. And shit, I mean, there's just so much things going on. It's hard to like comment about a like specific section.
Right.
Just
Yeah. I guess so yeah, so like I guess we could talk about like the general like band instrumentation. So we got guitar obviously. I think the piano is like really driving it a lot. Violin. I think the violin really sets this band apart for a lot of their music just because it's like such a key rhythmic element, but also like the melody, like when you're hearing that like that kind of I don't know if it's Lydian, but that do 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 do
mm-hmm.
when that's kind of they got like
Mm-hmm.
the rhythmic like tin, 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 and then it joins in with like the synth or whatever is playing that part and like just sounds great. It's kind of I feel like I have such like a soft spot for this because I don't think this band is the only band to do this kind of specific kind of instrumentation or general just like general vibe. I feel like I think a very common band that I've seen compared to with this band is Animal Collective, um, which is a band that I don't know what it was. I could never get into them.
Well,
They have,
I like this band more than Animal
I
Collective, but
do too.
I do really like Animal Collective. I just see
Yeah,
Animal Collective as like way more
they're way more
like
electric and
like
poppy and
poppy electric, yeah, more
yeah.
digital like sounds.
Well, their
Even though
early
they're
their
yeah.
their early stuff is like very like DIY. Like there's like albums they just recorded in like a bedroom or like a living room or whatever, and like it's just like acoustic guitars and like very kind of almost like found instruments and that kind of thing, where it's just very like kind of guerrilla, like just doing stuff like off the wall. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, this era of like. I guess there's that as far as like the psychedelic thing goes, like that Animal Collective comparison, but also like this kind of like chamber symphonic pop kind of thing that they have going
Yeah.
on, which were like so I feel like so many bands in like the mid 2000s were doing it. Gosh, like what I mean, like I don't want to like Arcade Fire is very different, but remember that like kind of like that mid 2000s very organic sounding, lots of like kind of string instruments and like I think Arcade Fire was doing that a lot. St.
Yeah,
Vincent,
some of
like early
the
St.
like
Vincent
indie
was doing
stuff.
it. Yeah, kind of indie
Yeah.
like indies
I
like
mean, like maybe like
chamber pop,
Snow Mine too.
Snowmine, yeah.
Yeah.
What else? God, I feel like there's so many bands of that era that were kind of doing this like very, I don't know, it just like feels like very organic. And this band does it really well. And just like it's yeah, it's like everything we talked about. It's just like you're on a journey. You don't know where it's taking you. Um, I also like the percussion a lot. I think this band
Oh
does
yeah.
great with their drum beats are sick because they're
Hmm.
never normal. Like they're always just like he's always just like banging on the toms and doing like very odd like just odd rhythms. And then they have like all of this their little like I don't know what it is, like pots and pans and spoons, like little knickknacks that really add to it, you know? I
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
love
yeah,
that shit.
exactly. I don't know about like I'm not like well versed in like specific like percussion sounds enough, and
Yeah.
like I wouldn't be able to like pull like back. There's like the boom, boom, like the really like heavy
Right.
like bass or
Yeah.
kick, but it's not just like a normal bass. There's
It
like
feels
something
like
about
yeah,
dum
like a
dum
timpani
dum
or
dum.
some it feels more
Yeah,
orchestral, like more like it's they're in like a music room or something. I wonder if there were like I don't know if were they like a music
like
room like a
like
music
a
kid like
music
kids like
school
yeah, do they have
background.
access? Yeah, I
No
wonder because
idea. Yeah.
there's like timpanis which are those big doom 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 doom. Like there's some of those on this album and then they have like xylophones or like marimbas or whatever. So they definitely had like tons of access to like really cool instruments, which I think
Yeah, and it's
really,
cool too because especially given that this was like recorded like the mid I guess the like mid late 2000s, but still, like you see I'm looking at like the Bandcamp page right now of like all
yeah,
the credentials or like or whatever, and I see
yeah,
like there's like a list of like 15 different musicians that are all contributing like with flutes, saxophone,
right,
trombone. It's all like real shit. I think that's like overall that's like something that like really like binds and cements like the sound together, or at least especially in like this album because it's all I feel like um almost all of it is very like real like orchestral like organic sounding
yeah,
like instruments, except
right.
like this might be a good segue into the next song that I want us to listen to, Bradford's Big Boat Ride.
Hell yeah,
This
great
is
title.
Beyond the Dawn. If there was this one part in that song where it sounds like there's this, it can't be it can't be like organic singing. There's some sort of like keyboard vocals going on. I
Oh,
think
okay,
it's fucking you'll remember, or like it'll be easy to
yeah.
tell like, when we listen to it. But yeah, shall
Well,
we
yeah. One more thing on this.
on Sniffles?
Yeah, on Sneffels. Well, okay. There's one other band. I don't know if you listen. You probably didn't listen to like Sufjan Stevens.
No. Oh yeah, no,
But
no, no, no. That's I think that is a very apt
just
comparison. Yeah.
just in terms of the yeah this era I don't know I didn't even I didn't even like this music when I was like when it was out like this was like my older brother's music kind of this indie Neutral
Hmm.
Milk Hotel like this kind of like
Even going back to like the Flaming Lips and stuff, I feel
totally
like.
Flaming Lips yeah especially with like there's other songs on this album that there's a song called Expired Planet on a different album that is like really Flaming Lips to me like it's really catchy
Hmm.
but Sufjan Stevens did like just like the horns, like the woodwind strings, like that sort of thing. And also just like again, like very DIY, just like bringing friends over to like your apartment or whatever. Like I think that I always like was super inspired to like read stories from bands that were like just doing this stuff like wherever they could, however they could, you know. So
Exactly.
again, I think that's like probably a good source of inspiration with this band for me. All right,
Definitely. All right,
Bradford.
let's hop on with Bradford on this big boat ride. animal noises here.
Right. Yeah.
Falling.
Right. It's a good dog. Yeah. Sick.
Right.
It's so great.
Yeah. When it picks up here, oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
Down the waterfall.
Yeah. Woo!
Badass. What a boat ride.
Right,
Damn.
it does. I love it because it does sound like a really like violent,
Yeah, yeah.
terrifying boat ride. Like like you
Right.
said, like down the
Well, it
waterfall. Like,
starts out calm. Yeah, exactly. It's like it
uh-huh.
starts out calm and then you just like get
Right.
like gets very turbulent. I
Yeah.
love that do 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 do. I remember, yeah, I still like so vividly remember like hearing that. I just love
Hmm.
I just love when there's like a section where there's like one chord that really surprises you and you're just like you get, do 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 do. It's just like it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
And then like
Makes you feel just like you're on a
yeah,
roller
yeah.
coaster or something.
Totally like kind of dizzying. And
Hmm.
then like you probably I'm not even describing like the section I'm talking about well, but like there's like a choir like how does it go? I forgot what the melody. It's so weird. Oh,
I
it's like
I think that's the part
da.
that I think it's the
Yeah.
part that I was talking about, and maybe like thinking like listening again, like maybe it is like actual like people singing it, where it's like da,
It's
da, da,
do 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 do.
yeah, 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 yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's the same part. Okay. I think
You
that's
did,
real. Yeah, I think that's real.
yeah. I mean, for me, it was just like it sounded like so like
Weird.
the speed of the notes is like just so fast and like
Yeah.
precise. It just sounds like
Right.
something that just like a little bit out of place,
Program.
you know.
I think it's
But
yeah,
but yeah,
it
no,
does, but in a
now
good way.
I could see it. Yeah, but in a good way. Now I could see
Yeah.
it being real. It feels like yeah, I don't know, just like it's just a total like just left turn, but in the best way
Right.
possible. Like that's one of my
Yeah.
favorite parts of the song.
Yeah. Sick. Yeah, I
Fucking
don't know what else to
Bradford.
say. It's great. I also one other cool instrument that appears in like throughout these songs a lot is like or it's not an instrument but like an effect is the wow. You hear that quite often. It was in the last song too. Like it's I think it's a whammy pedal, which is it's like I feel like it was super popular like in the 90s and 2000s. Whammy pedal is what what's his name, Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine used. That was like his. You remember his sound? His like super kind of glitched out, like a lot of like kind of sliding guitar
Yeah.
sounds. And you'll hear that in this, and I don't know if it's a guitar or if they like hooked up like a synth to it, but it's that like it's always like a sliding to like a higher octave, like wow.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
just think it's
it's
cool. It's like very of the time, but I think it really adds to it.
no, yeah, I think it sounds like, really graceful to all things considered,
Yeah.
where you have all that
Right.
shit going on. All right, so I think the next song, I think probably the last song that we're gonna listen to is my favorite song by them, Nomo, Nomo Days. Um, fuck, man. I mean, everything about the new I Feeling EP, it's like I've said before, it's my favorite collection of songs by them. I think it's like every single song is a 10 out of 10. It's perfect. It's like I feel like it just took the all the best stuff that they did from like the past two albums,
Yeah.
and I just think these three songs are just like would be like a great introduction to the band for someone. I think No Mo Days is probably the like the top one, the
Pinnacle.
magnum opus for me,
Yeah.
the pinnacle. Yeah, I don't know if you feel the same way specifically about No Mo Days, or you.
Yeah, I've listened to this one less. I think I still have like nostalgia for like their like original stuff, but I
Mhm.
think yeah, I totally agree. This is like everything they did in like the past, but just better, pretty much. Like and the production. Well, we'll listen to it. Production is like more fine tuned. Like it's like heavier. It's just it's great. So yeah, let's listen to it. It's a good
The
normal
laughing here is
start.
it's insane.
Totally normal song.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fucking badass.
Well, I'm hooked. Like you're hooked from the very beginning.
With eyes closed, fire crawls across my head. Hugging pillows, veils emerge through the bed. Holding out, bleeding, lifting ceilings.
think this part is so fucking beautiful and awesome, man. This part until the end, perfection.
Stars, wide and dark, it seems true of all ages. Fanfare received in the trees, birds sing song of the dawn. Horns blow message in waves, come meet us up the change of our age, test our strength and courage and fear, disperse our base assumptions, consume our produce and both make judgment from the mind. Action and thought, decisions by galaxies, reborn as a world for time lost to the age of trash. I want to view, affected by the furthest burning star, living for truth, while led in dark directions. In darkness we go on, we fall upon our closest friends. In a dead world, no psychic link to your pets. Must be forced to hold the key and my fear of the one. I want to reach inside the veil and speak to the new man. The moment church, a first to touch to the heart. Power dispersed to external idols, takes the line. Eternal skin, broke deep into subconscious. Warners rise to cleanse the eyes, the symbols pave the path. No rigid lines, I must keep my mind
Bass is going hard in this one. Hell yeah.
Oh, so epic, man.
Woo! So good. Jesus
I love
Christ.
it. I
Yeah.
also, I also, while we're on this, while I'm looking at this Bandcamp page, do you see the page that I am
Yeah.
sharing right
I
now?
I can't
Cool.
see it the whole. It's kind of small for me, but
Okay. Well, I think let me do a little zoomy zoom and pull up the lyrics here. On this EP, we get the lyrics embedded
and
into
that's what I
the
was wondering because I was like, God, what does this
I'm not
person have to say? Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
so yeah. I'll just
I
let
I I these are lyrics like in particular, like I've looked at some of them, but I think out of all the ones I've looked at, like these ones on this song stand out the most to me. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna read them all or try to analyze them. I just want to like read a few lines because I think they're super interesting. It starts out with eyes closed, fire crawls across my head, pounding pillow, veils emerge through the bed, holding out meaning, sorry, being slash meaning, lifting ceilings. Reach out for hands, but never can ask. Missing moments last for digging these traps. Holding out new eye, feeling, lifting ceilings. Brush back your hand through the fold. Who am I? I'm ow. Larger forms, rose bloom from a crown, take off my head as my heart receives the one.
Wow.
Don't go back to bed. My dad flies behind my head. So I just have to say, this might be, I don't know, it could be like a super like personal like lyrical like reference to like the person who wrote it, like their own
Yeah.
dad, but just the imagery there, like, and especially like I don't know if you are keying in like what part of the song that is, where it's like my dad flies behind my head. It's just like
Yeah.
so
Wow. It's
unhinged. And
very ominous. Yeah.
I had that yeah, there was like an hour or two like after I read that these lyrics where I just had like that line like going like in the back of my head, my dad flies behind my head. I just like there's just something about it. I don't know. I just fucking love it. I'm gonna skip a little bit towards the end here. In a dead world slash no psychic link to your pets. Pause before sleep slash hold the key and my fear of all one. I want to reach inside the veil and speak to the new man. The mob and the church slash a fist attached to the arm. Power dispersed to external idols dims the light. Internal scan slash probe deep into subconscious. Waters rise to cleanse the eyes as symbols pave the path. Last two lines here are no rigid lines. I must keep my mind open.
Wow.
Yeah, no
Open. Open.
open. Ah, it's so epic. I
Yeah.
fucking love it. Yeah.
My technique with lyrics is I have no fucking technique at all, and I'm going for whatever this is, but without the actual like skill to do so. And so like hit like there, I don't know if it's him or I don't know who's writing like the lyrics
I
like
think it,
kind
you
of
know, I think it depends on the song, and I'm not
yeah.
sure about the song in
It's like
particular.
it's a very specific. I mean, it's so like surreal and abstract, but it's a very cohesive like kind of singular vision that they have. And maybe they're just pulling it out their ass. I don't know, but it's just it definitely feels very inspired and intentional. And there's like a kind of pattern to it all with like the bed imagery and like the crown and like
Hmm.
kind of a medieval aspect to it at times. Like there's a very certain specific aesthetic that I think is just so goddamn intriguing, especially like with when the music is like what it is. It's just it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it fits perfectly with the song. I'm already saying like one other like line that I want to mention. There's in the song, I think there is one particular melody that I think is just like so fucking just like haunting, spooky, and beautiful. Where
Yeah.
it's like I'm looking at the lyrics right now, so I guess I'll sing it with the lyrics like two stars, one light and dark,
Yeah.
dancing
Da, da,
truth
da.
of all ages. And then it
Amazing.
goes, birds sing song of the dog. And dog is capitalized.
Wow.
I don't know,
The good
I love
proper
it.
noun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it so
I
much.
the melody style is so specific. Like this is like such I you got to give them credit. Like this is such a unique sound that they have. I don't know what scales they're using. It's like it can be like it's not exactly like atonal, but I feel like they switch around all the time. But that melody I love because it has like an old like almost like a 1940s like kind of old timey sound to it.
Hmm.
And when
Hmm.
he like goes into that falsetto, not really falsetto, but they go into those high notes and they kind of like just kind of weave down. Like it's just like this. It's kind of smooth and like
Oh,
hauntingly beautiful. It's amazing.
yeah, another part that I really love, and I don't want to like plug my own shit too much, like
You
it's not
absolutely
even like
should.
released, but the part where it's the part towards the end, like I guess this is the second to last part where it's like courage and fear disperse our base assumption. Da
Yeah.
da 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 da. That's like one of the like the few part or like I guess inspirations where I've consciously registered like that's something that I've come up with is like directly and inspired from
Yeah.
like something else. In this case, like that particular melody where it's like da 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 da. I think it's
Right.
just like fucking perfect. There's a song from Pinata Planet called Costume Bodies where it's like
Oh shit.
do 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 do.
Right. Or like
Very,
descending,
it's so,
ascending. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
descending and singing, but it's like just like the perfect series of notes. It feels like so
Yeah.
like energetic and beautiful. And I'm messing around with it and do other stuff, but it definitely came from like hearing this and like hearing like
Right.
just thinking like, damn, like that is, mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So my thing with this band is like when I was listening to them yesterday, it's like one of those bands where I'm like, does this guy not know what music is? Like, like that kind of music where it's like almost
It's the
so
best
like
music.
it's the best music because it's just like there is this like a naivety to it because it's just so like stripped of like it's not at all concerned with like where it's going next. It's so intentional at where it goes, but at the same time, it's just
Hmm.
like this guy. I
But
keep
who
saying
cares
this
about
guy.
like,
Right, right.
hey,
Who
yeah, where
cares?
goes next?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like just like again, like the journey and like just yeah, like the melody is just so bizarre and like also I one thing I like that they do is they'll like keep going up in the melody and then they'll like hit it's like you think that they're like at the top and then they go one high like one like half note higher
Hmm.
or whatever and then you're in a total different like musical universe with like
Hmm.
completely different textures and shit. It's
Yeah, that's
amazing.
something that this song and No More Days in particular does a really good job of, I think,
Yeah.
especially just those last like, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 sections where just like you think you might be like reaching like the end of the song or like the climax, and then it manages to just like keep
Right.
on
Just like
building
inches.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's great.
This is my, I don't know if I would, like prog is a little bit of a dirty word, but like
Uh-huh.
I think like this song Lovely, it's like almost 8 minutes. When people say like, oh, like alt prog is like shit, like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Dream Theater shit, or I
Right.
just feel like
Yeah. Good
you just
prog.
haven't heard the good prog that we're tuned
Right.
into. And
Yeah.
I feel like this is just such a great example of like um I don't know, just creating like a just a really interesting longer piece of music
Yeah.
that's like catchy, new, um impressive,
Right.
um
Yeah.
shit, I don't
That's
know.
that's kind of the thought I had like midway through. I'm like, oh yeah, this is like totally prog. And
Yeah,
yet it's
it's
just
totally prog.
it's
Yeah.
so not just that fucking like overplayed like just rock prog, that it's just like so tiresome. Like, there's great obviously great bands, but it's just so it's like, oh shit, like this could like music can literally be anything. It could be as long as it needs to be. Also, like it doesn't feel long because it takes you in like so many different
No.
places.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think it's awesome. It's
Yeah. And
very
yeah, and
inspiring.
just real quick back to what you were saying earlier about like not having any like expectation about like
Concept.
a concept of like what like the structure should be, or whatever. It's like it just really reminded me like I said at the very beginning of this episode when I first started like fucking around with like doing writing my own music stuff on the piano. I like didn't have any concept of like first chorus or structure. It was just
Right.
like why why do you have to like make it
Right.
this
Says
thing
who?
where it like it's all like cyclical and symmetrical if
Yeah.
it's just like this journey that you're going on that makes you feel really abstract and mysterious
Right.
emotions, like who gives a shit? I think a good old pop tune is pretty cool too, but it's just like it's I guess one of the just to sum up, like one of my favorite things about this band is that it was just definitely like one of the bands that like made me feel like, oh yeah, I can do the shit that I want to do without having to feel like I'm wrong or naive,
Right.
um or
Right.
I guess yeah, like not a real musician or whatever
Right.
for doing it.
Totally.
Any final thoughts? It's definitely been fun listening to these guys
Yeah.
again
They
in
rock.
preparation for this episode. It'd been a while, but I've been on a streak listening to like at least like the first 3 albums and some of their newer stuff.
Yeah.
Excited for this new
I know. Me
album
too.
whenever it comes out. Hope it's coming
Right.
soon.
Yeah. I'm very intrigued. Yeah. Excellent band.
One of the
I,
best
I, I
ever.
want to know how do they do it? Because it's
Yeah,
just like,
I'd love to, yeah, be
can
able
we
to like
write it
talk to them and
out?
be like, you,
Come on the
yeah,
pod. Let's
come on the
talk it
pod,
out. Like,
boys.
because I
Jesse, Justin.
Jesse and Justin, the bros. I assume they're bros. We could talk about Adventure
Yeah, they are.
Time. That's
They are
we didn't
best.
really we didn't
Yeah.
really talk about that, but
Yeah.
that's
Well, I
my
also guiltily,
I
you,
didn't really watch it either.
I don't watch. I know, and I know it's like very, very much like a very like psychedelic
Yeah,
show, like a
kids
very
show.
unique. It is a kids show, but it's just like the very I guess like the formula for it seems like it's very just experimental, psychedelic, just very like just,
Right.
wacky. I think it like also predates shows a little bit by like for example like Rick and Morty, that sort of thing, where it's
It
just like
does. Yeah.
it does feel like Adventure Time, and like later on with like stuff like Midnight Gospel, and that just sort of
Totally.
like,
Yeah.
whoa, like all of a sudden like all this crazy shit is happening, and
Right.
you're one place
Yeah.
and the next place. There is like sort of a parallel between that and
And
this
this
music
music.
for sure.
Totally.
All
Right.
right, well, fellas, ladies and gents, Pizza Ghost friends,
Yeah.
spread the love, the good vibes,
Spread the
and the
love.
good
Thank you,
tunes.
Maker Rising, for making some amazing
Making this,
music.
thank you, Make a
Excited for
Rising,
more.
for making Make a Rising.
Making a, yeah, getting a rise out of me for sure.